Hello, this time I'm going to give you a stat-based overview about the JNG-90, and to make things a bit more interesting, I will also compare to the existing L96A1, which has been in the game for quite some time. So let's get started. First we have the rate of fire, which is actually of course quite an important value, but for bolt action sniper rifles there is actually another value that determines the rate of fire, or rather how fast you are able to shoot. So for now let's skip the rate of fire and move on to ammo. As you can see, ammo between those two rifles is almost the same number of magazines, capacity, and just a very tiny difference between the reload time. So in other words, they are almost on par in that aspect. Recoil is not important on those type of weapons because after each shot you have to zoom out and actually insert the next round and go through the process of the bolt action. So recoil is not important because you have to re-aim and readjust anyway. Deviation is the same. It's 8 degrees when standing and firing from the hip and 6 degrees when standing and crouching. So pretty inaccurate hip fire, and you need to be pretty lucky to actually score a hit when hip firing. Aiming down sight, on the other hand, is perfectly accurate, indicated by min-def mod zoom being 0, which leads to the whole deviation being 0 when zooming in. In other words, perfect accuracy, you can aim right on your target and the shots won't deviate. Of course, you still have to factor in the bullet drop. Now here we have the animation shift delay, and that is a delay that you need to load the next round to go through the process of the bolt action. And as you can see, there is just a very tiny difference, but that difference goes in favor of the JNG-90. So once again there's a small advantage here. On to the next point. Both rifles, as all sniper rifles, have a zoom delay of 0.25, and they also share both the same zoom factor, which is magnification of 3.85 rounded to the second decimal place. Which is actually quite a large zoom, which you can easily use on long range. Now when looking at velocity, again there's a small advantage to the JNG-90 with a difference of 25 meters per second. And as for bolt actions in general, a value of 450 meters per second is actually quite good. Last but not least, we have the damage. And yes, there are some small differences, but all in all that is a very similar damage pattern. And to actually get those guaranteed headshots on targets with physical training toughness upgrades, you of course need damage increasing ammunition. In case of the JNG-90, it does not even reach, it is not even enough for a guaranteed one-shot kill on 100 HP. Damage multiplier as of now is 2.1. So if you would have minimum damage for a shot, it would actually mean that you won't have a guaranteed kill even on 100 HP. But luckily this modifier is probably going to change rather soon, or sooner or later, and it will be 2.5 instead. So yeah, that's probably going to improve, and you will have an easier time killing targets even without damage upgrades. And since I'm already talking about attachment, why not change to that topic already? So for bolt action sniper rifles you don't need a stock, because stocks either improve recoil, which is not required for a bolt action, or they can improve deviation. But in case of bolt action sniper rifles, stocks only improve, or rather, in case of the recon, stocks only improve ADS deviation, and since bolt action sniper rifles are already perfectly accurate, you do not gain any improvement from the deviation reduction. So yeah, stock is not required. As for the barrel, that is pretty straightforward. Precision barrel, because you definitely want that improvement for the ballistics. And for ammunition, I would recommend Stingray magazines, and if you don't have Stingray magazines, Viper magazines, but definitely one of those two. Stingray magazines grant an increase of 8 damage on long range, and when combining that with the minimum damage of 47, you are having a minimum damage of 55, which is enough to kill a target in 2 body shots or with 1 headshot, even with the current multiplier of 2.1. So the simple argument here for Stingray over Viper is the same guaranteed shots to kill, 2 for body and 1 for head, but more ammunition. Simple as that. But since Stingray magazines are currently not available in store, and the only way to reach them, so to speak, just buy them, is that package, which also contains quite some other attachments which are not even that useful, most of them, that storage package or whatever it is called. So yeah, if you don't have Stingray, just take Viper and you will be fine. And yeah, that's basically almost everything I want to say. However, there's one last aspect, which would be balance. On the public testing environment, the last status was that animation shift delay was increased to 1.2 seconds on the L96A1, which means a nerf. Not a great nerf, but definitely a nerf nonetheless. Which means, in other words, the developers deemed this weapon to be too powerful. But the funny thing is, even in the current state of the game, with no balance changes yet, the JNG-90 outperforms the L96A1 completely. And why are they giving a reduction of power to the L96A1 when the JNG-90 is more powerful even without that reduction of power? I really don't know. Maybe they just want to sell more types of the new weapon and reduce the performance later on, or they simply did not compare between those two rifles. Whatever it is, I don't know. But to come to a conclusion, the JNG-90 is a slightly improved version of the L96A1 stats-wise. Now, Is it worth to buy? That is something you have to decide. If those small alterations, those small improvements makes a difference for you, yes, that might be an argument, but also keep in mind that they might reduce the performance of the JNG-90 later on, so you should calculate that in. And as always, pre-buy price is never worth it, simply because a lower price is available when you reach the appropriate level. So yeah, that's everything for the JNG-90. Until then, goodbye.